Alright, gang. This is sound variant number 4 that I just recently got. The Plarail Tokai commuter train 313 series. This is a train that runs the Tokaido line in central Japan, along with some other commuter trains that ran the same line. Now, this train you're seeing here is my very first commuter train. The very first one. And I picked my personal favorite one. Well, one of my personal favorite ones, which is, of course, one is called the sound variant. Now, here's a good close examination about these trains. Well, here's one of them. This is your basic, typical, standard as commuter train. As for most commuter trains, they often don't go very fast, like bullet trains or any of the sorts. They don't usually go that fast. They're not built for that. They only go at a very certain fast speed, and that's pretty much it. But for this being my very first commuter train, I really love how this was done. The attention to detail on this one, even the stripes on it, really is amazing. Now, I also will tell you that Plarail did made another Tokai 313 series commuter train sold at the same time this one was released. It was called the Central Liner Tokai 313 class, and it was sold in a series called My Town Train Set series. 6 were released. Now, this one and those sets were released in 2003. This one released in July of 2003, and it did receive the interchangeable chassis model, and then the product was then discontinued in 2019. So this one had a very long lifespan. Here's the top view of it. This one is a 1-speed unit, because this is a white switch model. See, this one's white, and doesn't go into the middle. It goes either left or right. So, that means this only has 1 speed. Remember, 1 speed will have a white switch, 2 speed will have a blue switch. And underneath, it says Tommy 2005 made in Vietnam. So that's it for the front coach. Now here's the back coach, which is, well, pretty much exactly the same to the front coach. Obviously, this has been changed a little bit with the front coupling. And, yeah, this pretty much is just the same as the front coach. But now here is the middle coach. And this is, of course, the one that is the sound variant. Of course, it's, well, so to say, sound unit. But I'm just so thrilled with the attention to detail that is on this train. Now, you might be seeing like 2 different shades of gray. By the way, this hook right here is actually just to make sure that this stays intact. As you can see from the top, that's a different shade of gray than this. And this silver shiny coat is indeed paint. That's, of course, painted, while that is the original base color. As you can see, there is the pantograph. Well, not this is the pantograph. This is, I think this is an air conditioner. I think. Of course, there's a switch for the sounds. And there's the underneath. It says made in Vietnam, Tommy. So let's go ahead and take a battery inside this product. With these trains, before the interchangeable chassis, for this one you need to squeeze both sides in, and the cover comes off, which of course nowadays that's no longer allowed. You need a screwdriver to do that in. And you can look right here. What Plarail did is that these are pretty much front covers. And, well, see this little white part here that looks like it's different from this? Well, this is a separate piece. Everything else, as well as this, is all one piece entirely. This extra white part right here is painted, while this is separate. You need to be careful with this. And also, this one is also, the front cover to this extra part of the commuter train is glued. It's not screwed in, it's glued. But also, you also, somehow there is no production code on this one. Actually, the production code is on the motor unit itself. Well, you can't be able to see it, but this one, mine says K0513. So, that means that this was made in, I believe it's November 5th, 2013, where this was made in. Whatever. Here's the battery inside. Man, that is a beautiful running model. Very nice. Very nice. Close it up. Great. Now the sound unit. This is, of course, the part everyone really wants to hear, is the sounds it makes. Well, this is a very common sound unit part that most Plarail fans have seen numerous times over. It takes two AAA batteries. Now, for some unknown reason, this battery fits normally, but this part here on this side, the battery needs to be at a very specific angle. Sort of like a little bit up like that would either work. If it's full in normally, the sound somehow wouldn't work correctly. So it needs to be raised a little upwards in order for it to work. I think there's sort of like a loose connection, or maybe I need to do some like minor cleaning on the terminals, but somehow I was having problems with the positive terminal. I'm not too sure, but regardless, it seems to cause havoc. So the battery must be in a very specific angle on that side. So, I'll turn this on, and obviously this one has traction tires. I run it like this. And of course, this is the one that plays the horn sound. Of course, there is the other variants of this, where is the music tune variant, which is from the other Plarail trains, commuter trains. Now let's go ahead and put this on the layout. Actually, before I do that, I actually noticed something about this. Is that on the couplings? When I was actually about to connect this one, I was having a very difficult time. Well, not this one. It was easy to connect to this, but this was very difficult. And then I took a closer look, and I realized the coupling is actually altered. If we look at this on the middle coach, that seems to be a normal coupling that we're familiar with. But on the back coach, if you look carefully, there's more plastic on the top of this front coupling. On the top of this coupling, there's more plastic than this one. And I noticed that the 80th anniversary Thomas that I have has this exact coupling. So Plarail seemed to alter the coupling slightly. So this is the newer coupling, and this is the older coupling. They're not the same. And that's why this was very hard to connect, because there's more plastic on the top of this coupling than here. That's probably why I was having a hard time connecting. Jeez, I almost feel like I'm about to break it. Well, here is actually a small little Tomy layout that I made. And it has all the necessary parts. Well, technically, the only part of the Tomy tracks that I did kept. But this is going to be enough to ride this commuter train around this basic little layout that I made. I'll turn this on. And make sure the sound is on. And here we go. Man, those sounds really sound realistic. Sounds like how it is on the real life locomotive on this. Very nice. Wow, I was really interested in this type of train. Mainly the Tokai 313 class. The sound unit on it is actually the same exact one as on the E231. So this is from that train. But Plarail seem to also continue it with this train as well. But yeah, this was a train I was actually really wanting in my collection. And I managed to obtain my own at last. And I was actually also want the older version as well. I kind of prefer the higher pitched ones rather than the lower pitched ones with the interchangeable chassis. But finally, that's it for the video about my first ever commuter train, the Tokai 313 class commuter train.